Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Blues Focus TV. Hope you're all doing well. I think it's time to move on from the international heartbreak and get straight back to club football. Right then, let's get straight into some Blues transfer news. So we'll start off with some, I suppose, going a couple of weeks back because obviously I haven't made an episode in a while. I haven't been able to mention some of these kind of deals that have kind of come and gone. But so I'll quickly give them a mention and my thoughts on them now before we get into sort of the main rumours swirling around at the moment. I'll begin with Amiobi moving to Middlesbrough. Obviously, it seemed like Blues were kind of looking to steal that deal, I suppose, from under the nose of Borough at the last minute. Obviously, we've missed out on him. I don't think it's a massive loss. Wouldn't have been a bad signing, but I just don't feel like it's something we need in the squad. He's a good player, but I just don't think he's essential for Blues now. And I'm sure a lot of Blues fans will agree with me on that one. But decent signing for Borough and good luck to him. Moving on, Josh Windass. Again, I've mentioned him before in these transfer rumour roundups. He's still kind of, his name's still sort of bandied around with Blues, kind of with Alan Nixon who brings it up. But I don't think Blues will sign him, especially with the 5 million price tag that Sheffield Wednesday have slapped on him. I just can't see it happening, but I wouldn't be against it happening. I think he's a great player and I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Blues shirt, but not for £5 million. So yeah, moving on. Obviously, I've spoken before about Amari Miller being linked to Leeds. He has now completed that move to Leeds. Seems he's kind of chosen the Premier League over Blues. However, I do think he'd get more first team football with Blues. But he's made his decision now, and I wish him all the best of luck. I hope there's a sell-on clause or something in the deal, but probably not because I think it was sort of a I can't remember what sort of deal it was. It was kind of like a compensation fee. I don't know. It was something like that. I don't think it was a proper transfer, but who knows? I'm not the one to ask. But anyway, moving on to some completed deals now from Blues. Some more great business, I must admit. We'll start off with Juan Familia Castillo, left wing back of Chelsea, who we've got on loan for the season. His contract expires as well at the end of the season with Chelsea. So who knows, if his loan spell goes well with Blues, we might try and sign him permanently. He has had some quite notable loan spells out in top leagues like the Eredivisie. He's had 2 loan spells out there, one with AZ and one with ADO Den Haag, making just under 20 appearances for Den Haag and then just 7 appearances for AZ. He's not got any goals or assists professionally, but he's made a handful amounts really of professional appearances, nothing too major, but in a top league as well, that I must say. But his record at youth level is phenomenal. Goals and assists everywhere. Seems like also the type of player that's on the end of a lot of second assists, can be kind of at the start of something or at the heart of creating an attack, especially down the wing. But seems reasonably well accomplished defensively as well, which is good to see, and could fit in nicely into the Bowyer system whenever we play sort of a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back system, whatever that may be, whenever we transition. So who knows? But it certainly looks like a promising young prospect, but YouTube can make anybody look good. So yeah, I'm not going to get too excited, but I do think it's another good bit of intriguing business for Blues. I'm quite happy that we finally dipped into that Premier League loan market. So yeah, it should be good. I wish him all the best of luck at Blues, and hopefully it's a successful loan spell, and we sign him permanently. It would be great. Moving on to another big signing, another loan from the Premier League. I was really shocked when this one came out. I think it's a really high-profile signing for Blues, and that's Tahith Chong, promising playmaker and winger from Manchester United. Who's also had some big loan spells out at some big clubs like Club Brugge and Werder Bremen. So he's played first team football in the Belgian top division and the Bundesliga in Germany. He's made 15 appearances for Werder Bremen and about 12 appearances for Club Brugge in all competitions, scoring about 7 goals and assisting, I think it's something like 4 or 5. So decent numbers for such a young age at a top professional level. So it'd be interesting to see how he does in the Championship. However, this does sort of seem to be his last chance saloon at United now. So I do feel if this loan spell doesn't work out for him, then they might look to move him on permanently. And, if his loan spell does go all right with Blues, I'd happily take him back permanently, don't get me wrong. So I do wish him all the best of luck, but it does sort of seem like it's his last chance now. Obviously, he's made other notable appearances for Manchester United, like in that famous PSG game. He made an appearance there, I believe. So yeah, it's he's certainly got quite the resume for a 21-year-old, but I do feel like time is probably against him now, but he has had a few injury setbacks. Hopefully that doesn't happen this season and he can have a good spell at Blues, but we shall see anyway. Moving on to some more rumours rather than completed deals. But just before I get into those rumours, I have to say as well, this is the business Blues have done so far and so early on in the window has been fantastic, which is a massive credit to Craig Gardner. Shout out to him in his new role, and long may the good work continue. But moving on back into the rumours again to wrap up, we'll start off with a bit of a random one. It's an unlikely one, to be honest. I can't see it happening as it has sort of been shut down by people like Tom Ross and some other in the know Birmingham City Twitter accounts and whatnot. And that's Fabio Borini, who's been linked with Blues. It doesn't seem like it's going to go ahead. It looks like there's nothing in it. And I believe those rumours, especially if Tom Ross has shut it down. So yeah, but yeah, it was reported by Sky in Italy by a reasonably reliable reporter as well. So it's a weird one, but I don't think anything will come of it. I do think it's kind of just agent chatter or whatever. But yeah, and Fabio Barini's been linked to Blues, obviously through his Sunderland connection with Craig Gardner when they used to play with each other in the Premier League a while ago. But he's still producing decent numbers at the age of 30. Scored 9 goals in 20 appearances last season in the top division in Turkey. So some decent numbers, but he still is a bit injury prone. However, he has played for some big clubs like Sunderland, Liverpool, AC Milan. So it's an interesting target for Blues. I can't see it happening, but I certainly wouldn't mind it happening. I'd love to see Barini at Blues, and it'd be another interesting piece of business, but I don't think that one will happen from what I've heard. But yeah, moving on to some rumours that have come out very recently, and that is I've mentioned previously on a transfer rumour roundup, and that's Dion Sanderson. It looks like Blues still want to get him in on loan. However, there is hefty competition from Sheffield United, who have just missed out on Matt Clark to West Brom. But they're looking at Dion Sanderson for possibly 2 million on a permanent basis. So stiff competition for Blues, but you never know if Wolves see a future for him at the club, then maybe they will just look to loan him out to a Championship club where they feel he'll get regular game time, and maybe a local loan to somewhere like Blues would be useful for him. And if he's successful in this Championship loan spell, then he could have himself a future at Wolves. But you never know in football, really. Wouldn't surprise me if he did take the permanent move. But I'd really like to see Dion Sanderson in a blue shirt next season. I think it'd be another piece of excellent business from Craig Gardner and the staff at Blues. But yeah, so moving on to our last target before we wrap up. Another one reported by I think it's Tom Spears, something like that. Let's have a look. Yeah, Tim Spears thought so. Tim Spears has reported on Twitter, obviously the link with Dion Sanderson, that Blues want him on loan, and also that Wolves keeper Matija Sarkic is training with Birmingham City with a view to moving there on loan. So obviously he's already training with us. I know he's had brief loan spells already, more notably recently at Shrewsbury. That went all right. Seems quite highly rated at youth level, and I wouldn't mind this bit of business from Blues. I do think it probably says we'll look to move Prieto on or get Gcock a loan deal, or even move on Truman permanently. It does look like Sarkic could possibly be a third keeper or second keeper behind Etheridge. But we'll see. It does seem like another decent bit of business for Blues. Low risk, not very costly. So, I'm all for it. It seems very smart from Blues, and I look forward to seeing what Sarkic can bring if he does get any appearances. But, just quickly before we wrap up, I do want to touch on Gcock quickly. Obviously, he's been offered a new deal at Blues, and he signed the new deal. I think it's like 3 or 4 years. It's really good business again from Blues. More positive news. We've all seen that Gcock looks like he's got quite a bright future ahead of him. Obviously, plays at England youth level. Showed his qualities briefly to Blues fans when we beat Brentford 1-0 in the first game of last season. Very calm, very composed at such a young age. And he's definitely looks like he's got a bright future ahead of him. Maybe a loan spell to League One or League Two club could be the next move for him to look to get some valuable experience. And then maybe he can look at that #1 shirt at Blues one day. But I certainly wouldn't put it past him to be in for a shout in the next few years. But I wish him all the best of luck anyway, come this coming season, wherever he may be. But hopefully we can develop him well, and we'll see more of him in a blue shirt. Anyway, guys, that's everything for today. For your Blues transfer rumor roundup, episode 5, I believe. Thank you for joining me as always. Keep right on, and I'll see you in the next one. Up the Blues.